Digital products like ebooks offer significantly higher margins than physical goods, thanks to a zero inventory model and near zero marginal costs for each additional sale. But the path to having a product to sell is slow. You start with an idea, sit down to outline, and suddenly face months of drafting. Then come overhead costs, a $500 cover designer and a $1,000 voice actor before uploading. This traditional pipeline creates a massive barrier. You have to commit deep reserves of capital and time just to get a single product to the starting line. GamiBooks is a Shopify application built specifically to bypass that exact bottleneck. It takes a workflow that normally requires months and a team of specialists and compresses it into a 5-minute window using a single text prompt. The question is whether an automated system can produce a viable commercial product, or if the lack of human oversight results in content that feels generic. Today, we are evaluating the reality of that trade-off, giving up human-authored nuance in exchange for speed and immediate monetization. Looking at this interface, the initial input requires very little from the user. You type in a broad topic, assign an author name, and hit generate. The platform's processing speed is high. The system drafts the structured chapters in just a few minutes. These metrics show that the output volume scales up quickly. On the higher tier plans, the system generates long-form books reaching nearly 80,000 words. The generated text is automatically organized into a chapter-by-chapter list with exact word counts, ready for direct export. The trade-off is straightforward. You gain speed and remove writer's block, but you sacrifice the unique human anecdotes and specific narrative pacing of a manual draft. GamiBooks shifts your role. You stop acting as a writer trying to finish a manuscript, and you start operating as a volume publisher, treating the writing itself as a utility. The visual packaging phase follows the same logic, removing the need to manage a freelance graphic designer for every new title. In the cover settings, you select from themes, like educational, expert, or casual, or you can pull from a public gallery to remix existing designs. This yields a polished final outcome, formatted correctly for digital storefronts. You save hundreds in design fees, but you have to accept the aesthetic constraints of AI generation instead of requesting hyper-specific manual revisions. For a volume seller, a premium cover that is good enough and costs nothing to generate is often more practical than a bespoke design that takes 2 weeks to turn around. Audiobooks are a significant secondary revenue stream, but hiring a human narrator per finished hour usually prices independent creators out of the market. On the Pro and Power tiers, the app uses AI voice models to generate a downloadable audiobook directly from the text, handling runtimes of over 500 minutes. Measured, this automated generation removes the talent fees up front. The compromise is losing the emotional inflection that a human actor brings to complex passages. Even so, this provides access to a high-ticket product category that was previously too expensive for low-budget store owners to stock. Advanced agencies use multilingual scaling to capture untapped global markets and improve international SEO. The platform supports immediate generation of text and audio in over 26 different languages, which bypasses the need for specialized localization teams. You gain wide reach instantly, though without a native proofreader, you carry the risk of minor colloquial errors in the translation. Once the assets are ready, a single click syncs the text, the audiobook files, and the cover directly into your Shopify inventory. The tool constructs the product page, populating it with SEO titles, descriptions, and your retail price. Direct. Here is the reality check. The software handles the technical assembly of the product, but as the store owner, you are still entirely responsible for the marketing required to drive actual sales. Adopting this tool depends entirely on your specific constraints regarding time, budget, and your need for creative control. First-time store owners often just need a functional digital product to sell, or a polished ebook to use as a lead magnet without dealing with technical friction. For that beginner profile, the free plan or the $24 a month starter plan provides a low-cost entry point. On the other hand, volume agencies need to flood global markets with multi-language ebook and audiobook bundles to maintain their margins. For them, the $99 a month power plan is a significant operational saving compared to the costs of manual production at that scale. GamiBooks acts as a force multiplier, matching its output to whatever size operation you choose to run. There are creators who should avoid this software, traditional authors or brands whose identity relies on a deeply personal, specific voice. If your primary value is the craft of writing itself, an automated tool will only dilute your brand. GamiBooks is a utility. It treats digital content as a distributable commodity, not as artisanal art. It replaces the need for a team of professionals with the ability for a single person to execute a product launch in an afternoon. If your priority is speed and high-volume distribution, GamiBooks provides the infrastructure to go from a single idea to a stocked storefront in a matter of hours.